Chapter 1: The Moment That Changed History. In the chaos of World War I, a British soldier raised his rifle. Through the smoke, he saw a wounded German struggling to escape. The shot was easy. The war demanded it. History expected it, but instead of pulling the trigger, he lowered his gun. Years later, a shocking claim would emerge. The man he spared might have been Adolf Hitler. This is the haunting story of mercy in the middle of the deadliest war the world had ever seen, and the moment history still argues about. Chapter 2: Europe in Flames. By 1918, World War I had become a nightmare of mud, steel, and endless artillery. The Western Front was locked in brutal trench warfare. Young men who had marched proudly into war now lived like ghosts beneath the earth. Among them was a quiet, disciplined British soldier, Henry Tandey. He wasn't famous. He wasn't seeking glory. But he was about to walk into one of the most chilling what-ifs in modern history. Chapter 3: Who was Henry Tandey? Henry Tandey was born in England and joined the British Army long before the war reached its peak. He became known for exceptional bravery, calm behavior under fire, strong battlefield discipline during the war. He would become one of the most decorated private soldiers in the British Army. But on one quiet battlefield in 1918, his most important decision would be the one he didn't make. Chapter 4: The Battlefield Encounter. The moment reportedly happened near the French village of Marcoing in September 1918. The fighting had been brutal. Smoke hung low. Gunfire cracked in the distance. The ground was torn apart by artillery. Then Tandey saw him, a lone German soldier, wounded, exhausted, trying to retreat. Tandey raised his rifle for a few seconds. The two men locked eyes across the battlefield. The German didn't run. He didn't fire. He simply nodded and kept limping away. And in that moment, Henry Tandey made a decision that would echo through history. He lowered his weapon and let the man go. Chapter 5: The Claim That Shocked the World. Years after the war ended, a strange story surfaced. According to reports, Adolf Hitler himself later claimed that the British soldier who spared him was Henry Tandey. The story allegedly came up during a meeting in the 1930s. Hitler reportedly pointed to a wartime painting showing Tandey carrying a wounded soldier and said, "That man once had me in his sights." If true, it would mean one moment of mercy on a muddy battlefield changed the course of the 20th century. But historians remain divided. Was it really Hitler, or had the story grown into legend? Chapter 6: History versus Legend. Many researchers have questioned the story. Some records suggest Hitler was in the area. Others say the timelines don't perfectly match. There is no absolute proof, but what makes the story powerful isn't certainty, it's possibility. Because World War I was full of moments like this, split-second human decisions made in inhuman conditions, moments where history could have turned, but didn't. Chapter 7: The Weight of Mercy Emotional. Henry Tandey never claimed he knowingly spared a future dictator. To him, it was simply one soldier choosing not to shoot another wounded man. A small act of humanity in a war that had almost none. Whether the story is fully true or partly myth, it forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. History doesn't just change through grand strategies and famous leaders. Sometimes it changes because one tired soldier lowers his rifle and walks away. Chapter 8: When the Story Reached the World. As the years passed, the strange story of the spared soldier refused to disappear. Historians, journalists, and war enthusiasts began digging into the claim. The connection between Henry Tandey and Adolf Hitler started appearing in newspapers and wartime discussions. One detail fueled the mystery even more. A famous wartime painting titled "Men in Crossroads" reportedly showed Tandey carrying a wounded comrade. According to later accounts, a copy of this painting was kept by Hitler himself. If true, it meant the moment had stayed in Hitler's memory for years. But still, the historical evidence remained frustratingly incomplete. No photograph, no battlefield confirmation. Only fragments of testimony and a story that refused to die. Chapter 9. What most people miss about this story. Many people focus on the dramatic question, what if Tandey had fired? But historians often point out something deeper. World War I was filled with moments of unexpected humanity. Despite the brutality of trench warfare, soldiers on both sides sometimes showed mercy. Brief Christmas truces, wounded enemies being spared, silent understandings across no man's land. The war was industrial, but the men fighting it were still human. Tandey's decision, whether historically decisive or not, represents something rare in modern warfare, a moment where compassion briefly interrupted the machinery of war. And that may be why the story continues to fascinate people more than a century later. Chapter 10. The final reflection. History often feels inevitable when we look backward. World wars, revolutions, empires rising and falling. But stories like this remind us of something unsettling. The future is often balanced on ordinary human choices. On one muddy battlefield in 1918, a tired British soldier made a split-second decision. He showed mercy. He followed instinct instead of orders. And whether or not the man he spared truly was Adolf Hitler, the story survives because it captures a haunting possibility that history, even the darkest chapters, can sometimes hinge on a single moment, a single decision, a single lowered rifle.